Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, and welcome back to more Cabin Fever. In our last episode, we got to know Mallory a little more. We took her around the cabin and showed her just all the ways we've really been self-sufficient through this pandemic or crisis or whatever the end of the world is happening right now. So we're about to start in on Chapter 5, Maturation, new tongue. So let's get right into it and let's pick up where we left off last time. I woke up to the sun shining at an unfamiliar angle through my bedroom window. I checked the time and realized I slept in. Not by much, but still. Weird. I decided I must have needed the extra sleep. I knew stress could drain the body's energy, and yeah, I'd been stressed over the past couple days. But the house smelled amazing again, and my stomach clenched and unclenched in hunger. There was nothing, absolutely nothing to be unhappy about. I got out of bed, got dressed, and made my way down the creaky staircase. Something struck me as I reached the bottom step. The chairs were tucked in at the table. The blankets were neatly folded on the couch, and I was pretty sure the floor had been swept again. And it all made me feel so much calmer than usual. I never knew how much my home's cleanliness could affect my mood.
Morning, sleepyhead. Your breakfast is waiting.
I turned around. Mallory was standing extremely close to me. I thought about stepping back, but then I forgot because her cheeks were flushed red. I was pretty sure mine were too.
Good morning to you too. First things first, though.
I went to grab the temperature scanner and held it up between us.
Oh, right, of course.
She lifted her hair out of the way and let me scan her forehead. The scanner beeped happily. Somehow I felt even more relieved than the other times I checked and found her temperature normal. Mallory danced away from me, then spun back around. Suddenly there was a large plate of food under my nose. I grinned. Hey, that actually looks good. Even the soft-boiled eggs. And I'm not a big soft-boiled eggs fan. I'd rather have my eggs hard-boiled. Don't like runny yolk.
It isn't much, but I thought it would be good to have a high-calorie meal since we both worked so hard yesterday.
It didn't seem possible, but the breakfast looked even more incredible than the one she'd made yesterday. The plate held a rainbow of foods: sliced red strawberries on a tower of golden pancakes drizzled with amber syrup, a stir-fry of rice with orange and yellow peppers, surrounded by fresh, crisp, glistening greens, and a perfect soft-boiled egg. My mouth watered. She's certainly come a long way.
I did use the last of the eggs in your fridge to make this. I hope that's okay. I went out to check the coop for more, but there were none.
I'd already... That sounds like me. I'd already grabbed the plate and started eating. Through a mouthful of pancakes, I mumbled an incoherent reply to her and shook my head up and down.
Sometimes it takes them a day or two, but we'll have more eggs soon.
She smiled and sat across from me with her own plate. She ate her breakfast with far more elegance than I ate mine. After I finished breakfast, I gathered up my paltry first aid supplies so I could clean and rewrap Mallory's leg. My gaze landed on the box of disposable masks. My gaze landed on the box of disposable masks tucked at the back of the drawer. The ones I'd been wearing each day when medical care necessitated getting up close and personal with her. But not when we'd been working outside, or in the aquaponics room, or when she sat next to me on the couch while I played my video game. I slid the drawer shut, deciding not to bother with a mask. The two of us chatted a little while I tended to her wound.
So I guess I worked you too hard yesterday, huh?
What makes you say that?
You fell asleep at like 7 o'clock last night.
Mallory flushed pink again. She didn't seem sure how to respond.
It's okay. You learned a lot yesterday, and learning is hard work. I probably went a little overboard with the teaching.
No, but I enjoyed it so much.
It made me really happy to hear her say that. Once I'd finished fixing her bandages, I got up to peer outside. The sky above was blue, but there were gray clouds gathering in the distance. I decided to check the forecast. I stood at my desk, waiting for the computer to boot up and connect to the web. Once it did, a number of notifications popped up, chiming cheerfully. I followed them to my email inbox and glanced through my unread messages. One work update, a couple newsletters, something from coupon service I didn't remember signing up for, and of course, a bunch more hogwash forwards about the many cures my doctor didn't want me to know about. Do what I do, delete the spam.
I really need a better spam filter.
I deleted the new messages and exited out my email portal. I pulled up a weather forecast.
Partly cloudy this morning, with a chance of scattered showers throughout the afternoon and overnight. And it looks like tomorrow's gonna be rainy all day.
I felt like a bit of a chump for panicking about the weather. I looked up at Mallory.
Maybe there'll be enough water for a luxurious bath after all.
She grimaced, then giggled.
I should probably do a few things outside, though. Get the basic chores done before the weather turns.
I'll help.
I wasn't sure. I could tell she was sore from yesterday, but I was still worried about her leg. Also, why was she so insistent on doing so much?
How about you just keep me company this time?
Oh, all right.
Oh, she still seemed so happy. We headed outside. The sunshine was strong, but there was a chill in the air that hadn't been present yesterday. Occasional clouds moved past the sun, casting cold shadows over the garden. A flock of geese passed over us, noisy and energized. Damn, they were noisy.
They're flying south to escape the coming cold. They probably have their own tropical paradise somewhere, with their own beach houses where they spend all winter sunbathing and drinking margaritas. Just kidding. Geese don't do that stuff. But wouldn't it be nice to go on a vacation like that?
I don't know. I've never been on a vacation.
No? I frowned, pausing to bend and pull up a stray dandelion poking out of the grass.
Maybe someday someone will figure out a way to stop the virus, and you'll be able to go somewhere amazing.
Not by myself, I hope.
No, definitely not by yourself.
Aw. We walked around the property, Mallory humming happily to herself while I puttered about, checking the well, making sure the hens were happy and fed, ate more dandelions out of the ground when I saw them. Pretty soon, Mallory had grabbed a bucket and started pulling weeds too. It was like she couldn't help herself. I shook my head.
That's probably enough hard labor for the day. Let's go in. I need to do some work on my computer.
Oh, not just yet. Please. I'd like to enjoy the fresh air a little while longer before the rain comes.
Ah, okay. If you're good, then I'm good.
I reached down for another clump of weeds and felt my stomach flip when I saw a big black spider coming out of the leaves I pulled. Ew! I flicked my hand reflexively, which sent the weed and the creepy crawling flying across the garden.
Ugh. Stay on the alert for spiders.
Oh yes, I've already met a few of them. They're so helpful chasing off all the harmful bugs.
Of course, Mallory would treat spiders with the same kind of adoration any cuddly pet deserved. We continued pulling weeds together, side by side. I tried to keep the pace slow and casual. Despite that, and despite the heavy clouds moving in, we were both sweating pretty soon.
Phew, I am hot. I almost want to take my sweater off.
She said this with a giggle, standing up straight to stretch her back and survey the neat-looking garden. I felt myself blush, embarrassed by the suggestion, and the image my mind conjured up. Well, I mean, she being flirty? Try wearing black. Is she being flirty? Try flirting back. Better avoid the subject. What happens when we try flirting with her?
Taking your sweater off won't change anything.
Smooth. I gave an exaggerated wink. She blinked at me, and I immediately wished the ground would open up and swallow me whole. It took her a moment to process the joke, and when it clicked, she burst out laughing. Her laugh made me laugh, too. We were interrupted when Mallory's stomach decided to let out a high-pitched growl. She stopped laughing and clasped her hands on her stomach.
Sorry. My tummy must be hungry after all that work.
Mine is too. And I think I felt a raindrop just now, which is probably our cue to head inside. Do you want to meet me in there? I'll pick some things to make us a strawberry salad.
Wow, that sounds so delicious. I'll see you in a bit.
I grabbed a bucket off the porch and spent a few minutes in the garden gathering ingredients. A few raindrops pelted me here and there. Quickly, I hurried back inside, following Mallory's footsteps. By the time we'd finished eating lunch, the gray clouds had fully taken over the sky, and rain clung in droplets to the cabin's windows.
Well, if we get as much rain as the forecast predicts, the rain barrels sure will be happy.
Those are the big containers on the side of the house?
Yeah, you're getting good at this. It's probably the #1 most important system I have here. The water those 4 barrels can hold can last a long time, as long as I'm careful with it.
No luxurious baths, no water balloon fights either, I'm guessing. Just basic cleaning, cooking, and drinking, right?
Jeez, you make me sound like someone who doesn't know how to have fun. You're pretty much right, though. But you can't just drink rainwater. It wouldn't be safe.
Oh?
Yeah, you gotta filter that.
The water picks up a lot of things before it makes its way into the barrel. Pollution from the air, chemicals, dirt and bird droppings from the roof.
Ew.
Yeah, it's gross. So I add chemicals to the water and filter it to make it clean and safe. I'll have to show you how all that stuff works. Cleaning the water, using the spigots.
She turned her head to look me right in the eyes.
You're really smart. I like hearing about all the systems you use here.
My cheeks burned under the shock of her beautiful gaze. Oh, he's starting to fall for her. And the admiration I saw in her eyes. I nodded, not knowing what else to say. After that conversation, I went to check the solar batteries. They were full, which was good. The power they'd bank would last us a few days if necessary. Then the two of us settled down in the living room. I worked on my computer while Mallory gently explored my things and, eventually, nestled into the couch with a book to flip through. It was oddly effortless, the silence and comfort that filled the room all through the afternoon. Gradually, the sky darkened, and so did the interior of the cabin. It was probably long past time for a break when Mallory closed her book and stood up, teetering just a little on her bad leg.
Can I make us some tea?
Oh, yes, please. I leaned back in my chair.
That sounds like a very good idea. Yes, please.
She meandered into the kitchen and put the kettle on to boil. I stood up and went to the utility room so I could switch off the inverter. There likely wouldn't be any more sunlight for the next while, so I decided to reduce the load on the solar batteries and only run off DC power for the rest of the night. I heard something coming from the kitchen, like a small stifled cough. I listened hard to see if it would come again, but it didn't.
She's probably just clearing her throat.
I came back out into the kitchen and took a seat at the table. Mallory brought over 2 steaming mugs and set them down.
Honey?
Yes, dear?
Yes, dear?
Ah! We both froze. I felt my cheeks suddenly warm. Why did you say that? Screamed my brain. It's the first thing I thought of too, so.
I meant honey for your tea?
Yep, you did.
I felt like such an idiot. The reply had flown from my mouth before I even had a chance to think about it. Okay, I said to myself. Now salvage this.
And I was saying, yes, I will have honey for my tea. And then I was very rudely interrupted mid-thought by a deer that definitely exists and totally ran past the window.
Nice save. Mallory laughed, but it wasn't a "you're cute" kind of laugh. It was a "you're cute" kind of laugh, not a "I'm laughing at you" kind of laugh, so I felt better. After bringing over the honey and some spoons, Mallory sat by me and picked up her mug. She took a drink and made a strange little noise in her throat.
Ooh, I just burned my tongue.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Okay, good. Sometimes I'm paranoid because I don't even watch the video a while back, but it was when I was doing Final Fantasy VIII and I had this damn thing turned off.
See, that's why I always let mine cool down for a minute or two.
Same.
I couldn't do that. It smelled too delicious to wait.
I feel her there. I got up and poured her a glass of cold water.
Here,
Aw.
this will help.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
After taking a few sips of water, she set down her glass and looked at me with a sad, soft smile.
So, why would someone as nice as you feel the need to set bear traps right in front of their home?
The question caught me by surprise. I didn't know she'd even been thinking about that. Of course, it seemed obvious now. She had acted far too chipper and unconcerned when the accident happened. She must have been holding back. I was just now feeling safe enough to question why she'd been hurt in the first place. I nodded slowly.
Well, I don't know who this nice person is you're talking about, but I can tell you why I have traps set up around my house.
Probably to stop people from taking things. If this virus was that bad that it wiped out a huge number of humanity.
It's all because of Lola.
Lola? Lola? Lola?
Ooh, is that a stalker ex-girlfriend? Do you have to defend your property from a lot of girls?
No, it's nothing like that.
I paused to take a sip of tea, taking care to blow on it a few times before drinking. For some reason, I couldn't quite look at Mallory then, though I could see from the corner of my eye that she was listening intently.
Lola was my best friend. My beautiful Bernese mountain dog.
Aww.
She was the family pet, really, but me and her, we had a special bond.
Aww.
After my parents passed away, Lola and I took care of each other. She was a hard worker. She was by my side always, finding little ways to help me out. You definitely would have loved her. She had one brown eye and one blue eye, and her heart was made of gold.
Mallory nodded softly, wrapping her hands around her mug of tea.
One fall evening, I was inside working on the computer, and Lola was outside on the deck, just enjoying the cold. Bernese mountain dogs are, as the name implies, mountain dogs, and they're made to be out in the snow. She loved snow. The deeper, the better. But it hadn't snowed yet that year.
That's one thing. I know there's a whole thing about, if they're cold, if you're cold, they're cold, bring them inside. There are some dogs that are meant to be outside. Not all dogs, but like Burmese mountain dogs, yes. They can stay outside for a while and not be too cold. But that's my little rant for the day. So let's keep going. A surge of emotion came over me. I had never told anyone this story before. I needed to pause and drink more tea to stop myself from caving to the sorrow.
Lola started barking, and I ignored her. Because she was always barking at squirrels and birds and things, thinking she was protecting our territory. What a silly dog. But this time, it wasn't a squirrel or a bird. I actually don't even know for sure what it was. But the tracks I found later,
Oh no.
like they might have come from a grizzly.
Mallory gasped and held her hands up to her face. I felt like if I stopped, I wouldn't be able to start again, so I just kept going.
When I realized how urgent her barking was, I ran outside, but she was already gone. That eerie silence is something I'll never forget. I searched for her all night and all the next day. I never found her. Just tracks and some blood and fur. I don't know if a bear grabbed her and took her, or if she went chasing after it, or what. I just know I've never been so angry in my whole life. I was already dealing with the pain of losing my parents, and now Lola was gone too.
Oh.
After that, I pulled out all my family's old traps from the shed and set them up around the house. It was too little too late, but I needed to feel like I was doing something. It never occurred to me that a human might get hurt in one, and I'm really, really sorry that you did.
I looked up to see Mallory nodding vigorously, wiping tears from her eyes.
I don't fault you at all for what happened to my leg. I was the one who trespassed in the dead of night.
Yeah, that's true.
She let out a short laugh through her tears, sniffling. I got out of my chair again to find her some tissues, and when I handed them to her, I found myself giving her narrow shoulder a squeeze.
I'm so sorry about Lola. It's a heartbreaking story.
Sorry I made you cry.
No. I'm glad you shared that with me.
Oh, so, really? Really? For a moment, I wondered if this was it. The moment she would start to open up and share her story with me. Me too. Why had she been outside my house, in the middle of nowhere, in the rain at night, all alone? Maybe I should encourage her.
Okay, it's your turn.
What for?
To tell me something about you. Something real. Like maybe what brought you here?
A look of discomfort crossed her face. She still didn't want to tell me.
Or if you're not ready to talk about that, then maybe you can tell me something else. Something more light. Please? I hardly know anything about you.
What do you want to know?
Ask her about her favorite memory, ask about her hopes for the future.
Tell me something about how you grew up. A happy moment or favorite memory.
She pressed a finger to her lips, thinking hard.
My favorite memory? Building pillow forts with my sister, and playing make-believe that we were airship captains flying through the clouds. We lived at the top of the tallest building on our street, which is probably what inspired our game. I remember we had this old pair of binoculars. They weren't good or anything, but we used to look up at the night sky through them and pretend we were looking into other galaxies.
Aw, that sounds sweet.
Space is super cool. I approve.
Me too. She giggled.
I always loved the night sky. All the stars and planets and satellites. We actually lived really close to the planetarium, and it was always my dream to go there and see a show.
The planetarium.
But it got
10
closed
points if
down
you know
when
where
I was
that's
just a
from.
baby. My mom would always tell me that someday the planetarium would open again. And I just had to be patient. I guess I never really stopped waiting.
She gave me a sad smile.
Hey, I think I've been to that planetarium. I would have been really small, so I don't remember a lot, but that's kind of cool, right? But you know, we could totally go stargazing here in the mountains. There's nothing like it.
You can probably wait till it's not raining, but... She looked away, cheeks flushing pink. She wiped her eyes and struggled. And shrugged.
Anyway, I should probably let you get back to work now.
The last thing I wanted to do was go back to work. I gave her a little poke just for suggesting it.
Don't do that! I'm super ticklish.
Oh, okay. Thank you for breaking the mood.
Oh, are you? I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
I poked her again, gently wiggling one finger. She twisted her seat, laughing, her eyes lighting up. Yes, there you go, my boy. Her laugh was beautiful. She squealed and kicked her feet as I tickled her sides. A playful attempt at retaliation sent her slipping off her chair, but I easily caught her, and suddenly it was like our arms were in each other. Were around each other. We sat there on the floor, both of us laughing through our breathlessness. It was amazing. And then it was a little awkward. I withdrew my arms and got to my feet. I helped her up. We stood there for a moment, just looking at each other.
I have an idea. Let me treat you to a special dinner tonight.
There you go.
A special dinner. Ooh, and what would that be?
I haven't thought that far ahead yet. Give me a minute.
I thought about what sort of meal I could make from things I had in the kitchen or pantry. Truthfully, I wasn't a very good cook. I mean, I could throw together a salad or a sandwich, but that wouldn't be special enough. A thought sprang to my mind. In the pantry was a very old bottle of red wine. Oh. I didn't know if it was fancy or even good wine, but it was the only bottle of booze I had in the house, and because of that, I valued it highly. Originally, I intended to save it for a special occasion. I mean, this is a special occasion right here, so you're not wasting it. Specifically for the day the virus was cured. The bottle had been sitting on the shelf for many years. The hopeful note I attached to it to celebrate the cure faded and dusty. Could I open it now? Should I open it now? No, this was special, really special, and meant for a day that might come. Wine is meant to be shared, my brain reminded me. What the hell? I'd do it. I'd share the wine with Mallory. I swished my hand through the air and gave my best pompous butler impersonation.
A most decadent helping of popped corn with truffle oil and adult beverages.
Mallory stared at me, then tossed her head back in laughter.
Dinner is popcorn and nondescript alcohol? That sounds fantastic.
While I had the popcorn going, I asked Mallory to go look for the truffle oil from the cellar.
I'm back. I think this is the right one.
She turned the bottle for me to read the label. Scribbled my own sloppy Jiffy marker writing were the words, "the good stuff." I nodded and motioned my chin to show her where to find the wine glasses and bowls. There we go.
You made this truffle oil yourself?
Yeah, it's not too hard once you get the hang of it. The first batches I ever made were terrible though. Lots of trial and error before I landed on the right mix of ingredients and timing.
She brought out a large bowl from the cupboard and placed it beside me for the popcorn.
Wow, that's so cool. I think it's incredible that you've learned to do all these things.
That's just how it goes when you live on your own. If you'd like, I can teach you.
We reached up to grab the wine glasses. She cocked her head curiously at me. Oh, while reaching up to grab the wine glasses, she cocked her head curiously at me. I can
You
read.
would want to teach me?
Of course.
Of course. You're a good company, and it might be fun to show you how these things work.
It's amazing that just a couple days ago he was wanting to get her the hell out of there, but... She smiled at me and took the wine glasses over to the living room, dusting them off with her sweater as she walked. The popcorn was almost ready. Settling into the couch to watch a movie on my computer felt very different having a beautiful girl beside me. The same one who, only a few minutes earlier, was on the verge of tears. I was happy that I could cheer her up, if only for a little while. She seemed much happier with the distraction of popcorn in a movie.
Oh my goodness, this
I do
wine
too.
is the best tasting thing I've ever had in my life.
Don't drink too much of it. Her cheeks began to turn rosy after just the first sip. It made me happy seeing her like this. I was glad that I could share this small gift with someone.
What sort of movie would you like to watch?
How about something with action? And romance? Oh, and some comedy too.
Princess Bride.
That's a tall order. Let me see what I can find.
Princess Bride. It wasn't long before we both relaxed and let ourselves be absorbed into the movie. A strange story about a girl from the moon who fell in love with a human. They had to overcome their differences in order to realize they were destined to be together. That doesn't sound like Princess Bride. There was also a moon cat that bust out wisecracks every 10 minutes. It had Mallory rolling with laughter, as I expected.
This cat,
Aww.
I can't believe some of the things he says.
That's precious. Her laughter was infectious and soon had me joining in, despite the subpar humor of the movie.
I haven't laughed like this in so long. Oh my gosh, my stomach hurts from laughing.
Clumsily, I spilled a bit of wine on my pajama pants. The splotches landed right on my, thing that rhymes with splotch, crotch. The sight of it only made us roar with more laughter. It may have been the wine causing us to act so funny, but it may have just been that we were long overdue for a good, honest laugh. Being like this with her made me feel like my old self, or rather, like the person I might have been had my circumstances not forced me to become a young hermit. I wondered when we had started sitting so close to each other. I suppose it was so that we could share the bowl of popcorn without having to reach. But in fact, Mallory was so close to me that I could feel her heart, the heat radiating off her thigh beside my hand. I stretched out my fingers to graze her leg, testing the waters to see how she would react. Oh! To my surprise, she didn't recoil. So there my hand sat for the remainder of the movie, too nervous to move either way. At one point, I noticed her hand fall to her lap. It was resting in a way that seemed uncomfortable, with her palm facing upwards. It was honestly quite distracting. Before I could figure out if she had left it there for me to hold or not, the movie had ended. I missed my chance.
I really enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching with me.
Parts of it were entertaining, definitely. Like that bizarre turtle in a top hat.
That's right. And how we saved them from that lizard beast was so insane.
Okay, this sounds like a hell of a movie. We sat together for another minute, recanting the ridiculousness of the story we just experienced. All the windows were dark now, and Mallory looked exhausted. I felt pretty tired too.
I guess I should get off your bed and let you get some sleep.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. See you in the morning?
Definitely.
A little reluctantly, I left Mallory on the couch and climbed up the stairs to my bedroom. As I settled into bed, I felt a strange mixture of happiness and loneliness, two feelings I hadn't felt or allowed myself to feel in a long, long time. The pain of losing my family had been too much to bear, and so my heart had shut off, and I just existed, going through the motions, waiting endlessly for nothing in particular. Now I was rediscovering myself, relearning what it meant to be human, and it was all because of Mallory. Then, as though she'd known I was thinking about her, Mallory called up to me.
Sweet dreams.
You too. Get a good night's sleep.
Aw. I yawned and nestled deeper into my pillow. Before I could remember what I had been thinking about, I was fast asleep. Oh, and that's the end of Chapter 5. Chapter 6, Attachment. Anyway, we're going to leave it here for now and continue on with this next week. I'm really enjoying this. This has really been sweet fun and good experience so far, but we'll continue on next week with more of we'll start Chapter 6 next week. But what do you think of Cabin Fever? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd really love to read your thoughts on this one. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. In the description, you're going to see all the ways you can help support this channel. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and Reddit. You can get your Irish Bandit merchandise from my Irish Bandit shop on redbubble.com. You can pick up your copy of my 5-star rated novel, Shade Falling, on Amazon. You can get that through either Kindle e-reader or on paperback. And you can buy me a coffee, where right now I have a goal set up where I want to get some Elgato gear for my PC, make these streams look nicer. You can help out in the link down below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a brand new video goes live. Maybe not like that notification, but tomorrow and Wednesday, you're getting 2 back-to-back episodes of Bioshock. We didn't do Bioshock last week because had to honor the late, great Lance Reddick. So you're getting 2 Bioshock videos this week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, I will be back with my WrestleMania predictions. And then Friday, it's more Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then we'll be right back here next Monday with more of Cabin Fever. Why I keep reading that, I don't know. I'm still in hush hush mode. It's been weeks since the end of that. I'm still thinking about it. But either way, we'll be back with more Cabin Fever next week. Until then, have a great week, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon.